Hello and welcome to No Low Time, episode 51. My name is Ovid Velez, and with me is the real Dr. Nerdlove, Joel Young.
Dr. Nerdlove, man, it's never amazes me like how much original stuff this guy comes up with, and yet, Obed, I still have something to dub you with. I promise for E3 I'll come up with something real special when we go live. Look out for that, guys.
Yeah, I think Dr. Nerd. I don't know if that guy's still around, but I remember I think it was IGN. Like, man, I want to say like 7 years ago, had like a Dr. Nerdlove thing. So I kind of remember that, and we were having a very interesting conversation at lunch. So it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna just poke fun at Joel today.
Oh man, this guy, so good.
Oh man. But Joel, what's going on, man? I know that last week we didn't go over any of the topics on what's ups and whatnots, but I know that you went to see Solo not once but twice. So how was it?
I sound like LeBron James, not just one, not just two. Yes, guys. Well, you know my rule, Obed. Like, if a Star Wars movie if it's good, you watch it 3 times. If it's bad, you watch it twice. There's a chance I'll see this movie a 3rd time. I'll put that out there first. Yeah, man. You know what? This movie is better than I expected. Like, all in all, looking at it, I have issues with it. I don't think it's a great movie, but the movie's fine. Like, it's one of those movies that I'm sure when you see it, Obed, you'll say, you know what? It's fine. Like, you'll have a good time with it. It's not a disaster. It's not falling apart. But there are issues, and that has to do with the consistency. And you can see from directors, there's a very obvious switch where you could see where those directors changed up what they were really doing. From the 2 guys, and then Ron Howard that came in. And I think that the actor who played Solo did the best that he could, and he's fine. I think Lando, Charles Gambino, or Donald Glover, many of you know him, he does a very solid job of being Lando. I think for both of these characters, what I got out of them, I enjoyed, but I didn't enjoy enough for me to want to have a sequel or to have a spinoff like a Lando movie. I think I got what I needed out of them for this movie. However, there is a very large twist surprise at the end of the movie that now kind of makes more sense with where the rumors are of Boba Fett, where we talked about on the podcast a few episodes ago. So, yeah, I think some of my favorite standouts for the movie was actually Chewbacca and Kira, Emilia Clarke's character. They both did a very solid job in their roles. Left maybe one of the best Chewbacca performances that we've ever seen, in my opinion, just because of the depth to his story. He's a character that we don't understand what he's saying, yet we feel his emotions, and that's really powerful. Yeah. But Obed, I really recommend to you guys to get out and see it. Just go in with very tempered, low expectations, and I think you'll leave saying, oh, this movie's fine. If you go in with expectations like it's a Star Wars movie, I'm so hyped, you might be a little disappointed. It depends. But that's my thoughts on Solo.
Cool. I haven't seen it. I really want to go see it because you told me it was like, oh, it was pretty good. And everyone seemed to, agree that it's not the worst Star Wars movie. And I, based on something that you spoiled for me.
I didn't say a thing. This guy's too smart.
Yeah, you didn't say a thing, but you only had to say a thing once, and I was like, oh, dude, come on. I mean, it's like right behind me, right?
Seriously, yeah. It really is.
So, but I really want to go see it, and I'll definitely grab it when it comes out on Blu-ray. But I'm glad that it's good and that it's not an absolute mess, like a lot of people saying that this movie was going to be, and there was very low expectations. So fortunately, there's low expectations in the box office, right? And they definitely saw that during the 2nd week, had a huge drop, and even on opening weekend, it wasn't as strong as other Star Wars movies were. But I think that Disney/Lucasfilm were expecting this sort of thing to go down. So,
yeah, for sure. Obed, what have you been up to, man?
Not much, man. The only thing of interest that I did is I actually got to watch Black Panther finally. So Uh, and you were absolutely right. And it's like I asked you before going to watch Infinity Wars, like, dude, do I need to see Black Panther? Because I will go out of my way to see it before I go see Infinity War. And you were right. I was like, nah. I mean, I think you get the grasp of it. I was like, okay. So and you were absolutely right. Like, you definitely don't need to watch this movie before watching Infinity War. My wife watched it and she asked me, it's like, oh, so you went to watch Avengers and you didn't watch this one first? I was like, yeah. I mean, and then I told her, it's like, it's not like it's not mandated. It's not Civil War, right? It's
No,
not.
but it helps you to care, I think, about the characters compared to the DC movies.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, you know, that's I'm just being real. Look, I think throw it out there early. I think that's what it is, but it's not needed from the complete story. It's just for like you to care about what's going on. When T'Challa says Wakanda forever, you know, in Infinity War, you get the feels because you understand Wakanda forever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now, yeah. So I would love to whenever I watch Infinity War, second time, third time, whatever. Now I'll have full context of what's going on, and then that's definitely going to improve my experience. Although it was a great experience anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah, DC. Holy. Okay, we're gonna go in DC in a few minutes.
Yes.
But the other thing of note, Joel, that I did is when I play games, Joel, I like to concentrate. Right? If I grab a game, I concentrate and I play it until the end, and then I either go back to something I love or grab something new. So a few weeks ago, I finished God of War. Then last weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend before, I didn't talk about it because we had our E3 predictions episode. But I went back to God of War, played about another 10 hours of it, and I think I got everything I wanted out of that game by this point because I finished all the bosses, the optional bosses. I only have one big area to go through again. And to basically do all I needed to do in that game. But it's just going back to it. It's like, oh, I mean, it's an area. It's cool. I may go back to it later, but at this point, I think I got everything that I wanted to from that game, which was about 40 hours, and I appreciate it. And one of the best gaming experiences that I've ever had. It was a fantastic game. So, just going back, I went back to Star Wars Battlefront, Joe. I went back to Battlefront, played some Battlefront. I popped it in and I was like, man, am I going to get a game or not? Am I just going to be there by myself and not take it and just not get any games? So popped it in. Within 5 seconds, I was on a match, on a full match, like 10 versus 10 blast match. And it's still fun, man. And they added a few things. They improved a few things. They improved load times. They improved just some menu stuff got improved. And I was like, you know what? I have a bunch of credits that I've accumulated from when I was playing when the old progression system was in place. So I splurged. I went ahead and bought alien heads and one like a first order female officer with an eye patch and all those crazy skins. So I played quite a bit of that again. But Joel, last week I mentioned that the second set of DLC characters for Dragon Ball FighterZ came out, Vegito and Fusamas. So, dude, it's awesome. So I went back. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna, and that's basically what I played all last weekend. I played a little bit of Battlefront, but then I went back to Dragon Ball for the weekend. And oh man, it's fantastic. I did pretty good too. I got whooped a couple of times, but I did pretty good. It's hard because my defense is not great. My offense is okay, but then my defense it's not okay. So I need to get better at trying to get away and trying to break off some more things. But all in all, man, that game is so good. And if it comes out for Switch, which they're saying it's a strong rumor right now at this point, Switch players will definitely get a fantastic game that they can play on the go. So, yeah, can't wait to see what happens with that, and can't wait to see what the next batch of characters, or if they're going to do a season 2. So really looking forward to that. So
it's fantastic, man. I know you're telling me how much fun you had in some of those matches that you did, and the one guy that messed you up, but you still had a good time with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still a good time. I mean, I got whooped real good a couple of times, man. But then it's one of those. This game is one of those games that you lose and you don't necessarily not necessarily feel bad, because it's so much fun that it just doesn't matter, man. But then when you do good, it's like, oh yeah, let's go. It's so hype. So it's really good. Yeah, I think I'm almost at 100 matches. I think I'm maybe around 70 matches at this point. So almost at 100 matches. It's not bad, and I think I'm around like 52 wins. So I'm doing okay, I think.
Yeah, and I saw this weekend, I think, some new solo content's coming to Battlefront, so that's interesting too.
Yeah, there's like, they're calling it like solo quest, or it has a name. I did see it. So I'm gonna check it out over the weekend. I'll pop it in and definitely take a look at that. But Joel, let's go ahead and jump into the topics, because we have a couple things and we are going to keep going with E3. But before going into some more news / predictions that we may have, Joel, DC, again, what the heck are they doing, Joel? What's happening, bro?
Like, we were sitting down talking, and I said, Obed, like, we got to talk about this thing, like, on the podcast. Because I was like, I don't understand. I can't see what's the realistic mindset behind this decision. So we just found out the other day that Jared Leto will be producing and starring in a standalone Joker movie that's set in the same vein as the Suicide Squad universe. And yeah, it's the movie nobody's asking for, Obed. Like, this is a character that was not executed very well. Usually you have a movie where, like we just talked about, like Black Panther, where you learn and care about this character, and then when they go into these other movies, now you're excited to see how they'll contribute and the furthering of their story. In this situation, I don't believe that many people watched Suicide Squad and said, Jared Leto's Joker is so good, I can't wait to learn more about him. There are people who had questions and concerns, but it was kind of forgotten. The whole movie in general, Obed, I believe, is the forgotten DC movie. And we've talked about this before. So I am concerned that this is just another one of those things where they're just shooting out all these different movies and they're not focused on what the real plan is. And so at some point, Obed, I think there's going to be a massive reset, because someone's going to say, we're not making money, and it just doesn't make sense. To me, Obed, what they should have announced, and I mean, there's still time, right? We have Comic-Con, is there should have been not a standalone Joker movie. It's to finally get our Henry Cavill's Man of Steel 2. That's the movie that I want.
Yeah.
That's the movie that we deserve.
I think so too. Yeah. I don't know. Especially continuing that Suicide Squad type of universe. It's just that, again, we talk about DC movies and we always forget that Suicide Squad was a thing, because that movie was so bad.
Oh man,
it's so bad. It's the by far. It's all right. I'm gonna put it like this, Joel. Can you imagine a movie like the like Halle Berry's Catwoman coming out right now with all the current comic book movies that there are?
You'd be laughed at, mocked.
And that's exactly what Suicide Squad is. It's the movie that everyone laughs at. It's the movie that everyone forgets that was a thing. I did not like the Joker in this movie. I have nothing. I think Jared Leto's a weirdo, but I have nothing against his acting chops, because he's proven to be a good actor. But if they need to definitely rework a lot of things in order for this thing to be successful, they need to rework not necessarily backstory or anything like that, because this is going to be something different. But it depends on the director. Do they have a director already or not?
No, the only thing is that Jared Leto starring and producing the movie.
Okay. I'm hoping that the director doesn't go with that over the top laugh that he had. If I'm hoping that something a little bit more natural and not as forced as it was in Suicide Squad, because it was just so forced and so fake and not. And I'm not saying that the Joker needs to be relatable because not he's not.
The Joker.
He's a Joker, but at the same time, you need to make it believable.
And this is gonna be the star of the movie, Obed. Like I want people to really grasp their minds. This is not a movie where the Joker is the villain. This is a movie where the Joker is the star. Like a whole villain's movie about the Joker doing bad stuff. I don't agree with this decision at all.
Yeah, I really don't know what they're trying to do with this. Can you imagine? Like, can you? Okay, all right. So we talked about how Infinity War could have been just called Thanos,
right,
and it would have been fine, right? Because there was a compelling reason for things to happen. But can you imagine coming up and having like a Sabretooth movie? It's like, what's he gonna do? You know, I don't know.
No sense.
I'm just hoping that they figure it out. I know that DC fans are not happy. We have a friend of the show that's a big, gigantic DC fan, and he was like, "Oh, this is trash, bro. What are you trying to do here?"
Oh boy.
But man, again, like you mentioned, Man of Steel 2. That's the movie I want to see. That Batman movie, which last week they announced that the Penguin's going to be the villain. I was like, what the hell happened with Deathstroke? He was so cool.
Yeah.
And now you're coming up with the Penguin? Come on.
So there's a rumor that at Comic-Con, Matt Reeves and Ben Affleck are going to show up on stage together to signify that Ben Affleck's not running. I'll believe when I see it, man.
It's nice that they got him chained down. They implanted a bomb on him and he gets too far away. He's just explode.
He has no choice.
Yeah. Oh man. But seriously, at this point, DC is the Xbox of the movie.
Oh,
of the movie universe. Oh, seriously. I mean, we'll talk about Xbox in a few minutes because again, roadmaps are a thing, right?
Right.
And people were asking for an Xbox roadmap, and we got one. We did. And we're gonna talk about it. But DC, what are you doing? Again, I really want to see Superman. I want to see Batman. I want to see Flash again. Hopefully, Aquaman's gonna be good. I know that Wonder Woman's, it's most likely going to be good again. So, I mean, there's hope, right? But it's not the way we want it, and it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is with DC.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, but Joe, just moving right along. Two things, right? First of all, I want to point out that myself, as a old school, seasoned Star Wars fan, I have a bone to pick with fanboys, as I always have. And I normally don't like to talk about these things, but it's gotten to the point where I just want to touch on this real quick, Joel, and then we can move along to some more Star Wars news. But Kelly Marie Tran left social media because of fanboys harassing her, and one of those things that she had to close her accounts because it was too much, right? Hey, so man babies, stop it. Seriously. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. You're harming people that are trying to bring you what you want. And seriously, guys, I mean, we've talked about fanboys before, Joel, and you know how upset I get about this. But when it comes to just harassing people and just, Joe, pardon my French, but just if you are just being assholes out there, I, seriously, just grow up. And it's time. It's about time that Star Wars fans just grow the hell up and just stop this crap and this crying that you guys have. Um, and that's all I gotta say. Because I can start rambling, man.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, Ben. I'm glad you took the time to address this because this is nothing new.
Yeah.
We saw this happen with Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, and now we're seeing this with Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose. Same thing to both of these ladies, where they've got attacked greatly on their social media to the place that they had to shut it down. And this is a problem, like you said, Obed, because it's never right. There's no way for you to justify the right thing. This is right by any means.
Absolutely not.
You know, I hear the most dumbest, the most brain dead comments from people. Well, this is what you get for being such a stupid character. I'm sorry. Like that's a brain dead comment you just made there, and I'll be that blunt. You know, there is nobody who deserves to have any of this happen to them. I, for one, am someone, Obed, who has you know this about me. I'll watch stuff and I don't care for a portrayal or a certain character. I may not like the actor's portrayal even of a character, but I am able to divide and say, as much as I may not like this, it doesn't mean I have to go hating this individual. I don't know them. And even if I do know them, it's still inappropriate and still wrong based off a moral compass of understanding the right and wrong thing. So you're taking it too far. Like you said, you're being babies. You're being immature. And if you're a really mature person, you don't like something, you move on. You don't have to buy this movie. You don't have to ever watch this movie again. Nobody's holding a gun to your head saying this is going to happen. You are being the person who's going out of your way to do this nonsense that there's no justification for. So, yeah, Obed, I'm glad we took time out to address this unfortunate news, but really just something to learn as a nerd and geek community about the way to divide and separate and treatment of others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get riled up, and it happens with everything, right? It happens with video games. It happens with movies. And, you know, there's reasons to be, if you're a huge fan, again, dude, I have these movies in VHS. That's a collector's edition VHS episode 1 that I have right behind me. Come on. And I seriously, I mean, fanboys don't have that kind of crap. And so seriously, you guys, you know, just need to let it go. You need to grow up and stop being such, you know, immature babies. And that's it. And that's all I got to say, Joel. But moving along, Kathleen Kennedy, another female that's getting harassed by all these man-childs.
Yeah, so Kathleen Kennedy, man, has got a lot of hate from a lot of fans for different reasons, whether it's comments she made, decisions that she's made, rumors that have come out, to the place that now we're hearing strong speculation that Kathleen Kennedy will no longer be the president of Lucasfilm, the people who oversee the company that oversees the Star Wars movies and Indiana Jones. That was sold to Disney. So you have, unfortunately, the news that she will most likely be stepping down by September of this year. Strong reports are saying that. And, you know, Obed, I had predicted this on the show. If you listen to episodes before, I had said if Solo has a major money loss, if it doesn't make $500 million, someone's going to lose their job. People are going to lose their jobs. There are reports that because of how unfortunately, how bad Solo did at the box office, that they have, I believe, somewhere in the range of $80 million they're expecting to lose on this movie. You know, how much money it costs to reshoot 60% of this film really hurt their budget, and they expected to have a loss. But $80 million is not enough for you to blink and say we made a mistake and go to bed that night. $80 million is the kind of stuff where somebody has to pay the price. And it seems like that's going to be Kathleen Kennedy from the top. You know, there's been many reports out there about how she has not gone along with most of the directors of the Star Wars movies. Her and JJ disagreed on a lot of different ways that certain scenes were to be carried out in different events when they did Force Awakens. She had her very strong opinion on Rogue One, where they had to reshoot a lot of that movie. And they also almost completely cut out that Darth Vader scene that we all love in Rogue One. That was almost not even in the movie, and there's actually more to that apparently. It was just because wanted to make it family friendly. I can continue on and on and on about stuff I've heard. Her stuff with The Last Jedi and all these different things that's been done. That has been divisive for a lot of people. It's been people in the industry may not have the best experiences working with her. And this is, she's made various comments about, about hiring female directors. She stirred fan bases wrong. She stirred directors wrong. My thing is, I'm not going to come down and hate on her. I think she is one of the best and most talented people in Hollywood. I have a lot of respect for what she's done and what she tried to do with Star Wars. And I like these movies. I have yet to hate one of these new Star Wars movies. And that's just my opinion. I think there's a lot of different effects. Some people say Star Wars fatigue. To me, it's just a matter of if you're going to crank out that many movies, it better be super high quality. And these movies are very divisive. So I feel unfortunate, but at the same time, sometimes it's in the best interest if someone moves on, right? Joss Whedon moving on from the Avengers movies. You get the Russo brothers and you get Civil War, Infinity War, Winter Soldier. Great movies like that. So I think that this could be in the best interest. I just hope for the best with whoever takes it on next.
Yeah, and we were talking about this over lunch today, and I mentioned that who's available. We got Jon Favreau that's already involved in some projects, but other than that, that's out there openly available and capable of carrying both the studio and the franchise. And we had a little bit of a struggle to come up with someone, but then I mentioned to you, it's like, so what about Dave Filoni, Joel? Do you think he would be a good match to carry on the studio and the franchise?
He would be a fantastic match. I would just press that button without hesitation. Dave Filoni understands Star Wars the best from an old and new generation. Remember, guys, this is the guy who trained directly under George Lucas when he came into Lucasfilm as a young man. So he understands the way Lucas's storytelling is, and that's why he was able to do the stuff that he did in both the Clone Wars and Rebels, because he actually appreciates the prequels, and he appreciates the original trilogy as well with what he did with Rebels. He really has a good understanding for what's going on there, and he's a very strong storyteller. You just have to give it a lot of different perspective maybe than your average Star Wars stuff, but it's really strong, good stuff. I highly recommend Clone Wars and especially Rebels. But yeah, Filoni would be amazing, Obed.
Yeah, I think that would be the perfect choice. I don't know if he's ready for the challenge, having to carry the studio, but hey, he's been involved with Star Wars for what, man, 15 years, right? For
very long time.
Quite a while. When did the Clone Wars animated movie come? Was that after episode 3 or between 2 and 3?
No, that was after episode 3.
Okay.
Came out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's been 11 years or so since that movie came out, and quite a bunch of a couple seasons of Rebels, and before that Clone Wars. So I think he would be the perfect pick. He is, like you said, is a guy that understands the product, understand the unfortunate fan base, and he's the guy that I think most of us could get behind without any issues. So yeah, I would hate to see Kennedy go. Like you said, I really respect her work. Her work with Spielberg back when she was in Amblin. It was just some of the most iconic movies of all time, and I have absolutely zero gripes with her. But if that's the direction that Disney wants to go with, as long as they get the right person behind the franchise, I guess that's it. That's it. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Joe, jumping back into E3, this never stops. It's going to be like that for another week or so. Remember, Monday, 8 o'clock. Tune in. Eastern time. Today live, we are going to be streaming and reacting to the PlayStation conference. Before that, we're just going to take some time and talk about what we saw on the Microsoft conference that's on Sunday, plus Bethesda, plus EA, plus whatever Square Enix does on Monday as well. So tune in to get our live impressions, basically. So,
A lot of fun.
yeah, I'm really excited, man. I'm really pumped. It's the first time we're doing something like this, so I'm really excited. Again, I'm hoping that we don't have any technical issues, and hoping for the best here. But Joel, let's go ahead and talk some E3. And we talked a lot about Microsoft and what we hope to see out of them during E3, and what they need to do to get both the fan base and more people into their platform. Very strong opinions that I have about that. Again, I think that they're pretty much done with this generation. This generation is lost cause, and they're going to focus on whatever's next for the brand. But something happened, Joel, this week. Very interesting. Matt Booty, who came from Mojang when Microsoft purchased Mojang, of course, Mojang being the company that behind Minecraft. He got promoted to head of first-party Xbox games after Phil Spencer got promoted into being the head of Microsoft games overall. So Phil Spencer not only oversees Xbox, he oversees Windows. He oversees all their platforms that Microsoft uses for games. But should I call him Mr. Booty?
I feel like we're mocking the man, but that's
or should I just call him Matt? Let's call him Matt. All
Matt.
Right. So Matt had an interview with MCV UK magazine, and it was very interesting because I was one that since maybe late 2016 has been wondering what the roadmap for Xbox is, because they come out on E3, they show a bunch of trailers, they drop the word exclusive when there's really not exclusives. I actually went back, Joel, and watched last year. They did not use the exclusive. That was the 2016 conference. Last year they used world premiere. Which is actually the correct word that you should use when presenting trailers that are on multi-platform games. So, but I've been asking myself, it's like, what is the roadmap? Where are they going? We've known, for a while what the roadmap is for PlayStation. We got Sean Layden out there doing interviews and saying, hey, this is what we want for the brand. This is what we're focusing on, and this is where we're going to take it. But we didn't hear anything from Microsoft, and it was very both concerning and interesting. But there's a pretty interesting line from his interview that I want to read verbatim, because it's very interesting, because there's a but, right? And every time there's a but, it doesn't mean that's set in stone. And I've watched several Xbox fanboy videos out there, Joel.
I'm sorry. My mind is so juvenile right now. He said there's always a but, and we're thinking of the name of this gentleman that we're talking about.
Hey, you know what? That wasn't intentional.
I'm dying over hilarious.
So I'm going to talk about Mr. Booty's butt.
The butt that he says. Okay.
The butt that he says. Yeah. And I'm going to try and read this with a straight face. But before reading this, Joel, so I watched several fanboy videos or Xbox supporters, however you want to call them, and also PlayStation fans, and fanboys too. And some are saying, I was like, oh yeah, this is what this means, and then you have half of the Xbox fan base saying, no, this is what it means, right? So I'm gonna read it. It says, there will always be single player games with maybe 20 to 30 hours of gameplay. We love these kinds of games, and there's a place for those, but it is certainly the case with the I laughed at the butt.
I'm done.
but it's also certainly the case with the focus on watching, streaming, broadcast, and esports that it's really important to think about the longevity of a game. That but right there, so squashes the entirety of his first sentence, saying we love these games and there's a place for them, but we need more. Joe, before I jump into some very strong opinions that I have about this and other Xbox properties, what do you think of Matt's quote here?
It sounds to me like he's very heart set on what he wants the future of Xbox and with Microsoft under Microsoft, what it's going to be. And it sounds like he's out of touch because he thinks he's talking about the future when he's talking about this streaming and esports and all the stuff. And that's great. That's awesome. But he's he is neglecting what makes gaming so special, which is these original, strong storytelling games. Battle Royale is going to be something that's going to be thrown on a lot around E3, these kinds of games and these competitive games after the Fortnite effect, as I would refer to it. But it's important for us to understand that that's not the entirety of the future of gaming. It's just something that's a new faction that's doing well, but you'll always need these original games that are strong with their stories. So it feels like it's a little bit neglecting what they need by trying to say this is what I want to do, and it's very obvious right in front of them, what they've been lacking for so long. If they were to compare themselves to their competitors, Sony or even Nintendo, how come those guys are being so successful? And it ain't because of their streaming. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially Nintendo when they have these crazy restrictions with streaming their games. Like, it's really hard to stream a Nintendo game without getting flagged for either music or something.
Exactly.
Right. Nintendo always has something out there that you'll probably get flagged for. And they're doing great, man. Like, they sold like 10 million Super Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
And come on, guys.
That's what that speaks for what the people want. Like, you have to pay attention to these things. If your competitor's doing this thing, that's what they want. Not what you're telling them what you think they want, because there's no evidence behind that aside from the Fortnite effect, which is cool, but that does not speak for every gamer in the world. You have to look at these other guys. So, but I'm really curious to hear your reaction on this.
So, all right. So he's saying that basically what I understand from this quote, and this quote, I don't see that. I don't think that they're definitely working on single player experiences. They are working on single player experiences as long as they have a robust multiplayer component to it, which is fine. But at the same time, you cannot abandon one for the other. There's games for PlayStation, like The Last of Us. The Last of Us had a very good multiplayer, which I never touched. Uncharted had multiplayer. I remember playing like an hour of the Uncharted 2 multiplayer, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but I finished the story, and that's what I wanted, and I got what I wanted out of it. So, but then we saw the best example, Joel, again, and we're not fanboys. Like, PlayStation is our console of choice, but there's the proof is in the pudding. Just this morning, they announced that Nier Automata has sold 3 million units between physical and digital. 3 million units for a niche game that a really bizarre Japanese dude made about existentialism.
Amazing,
dude. Seriously. And then so seriously, I think that this is what happened to Scalebound, and this is why Microsoft canceled Scalebound, and it's because they wanted to put a crazy multiplayer with microtransactions on the game, and Hideki Kamiya said no, and they said, well, we're just going to cancel the project if you don't want to do this. So, dude, seriously, and I think that as long as they have this mentality, they are, yeah, they're gonna keep their fan base, right? But they're not gonna bring new people in. So they're gonna start. So again, we're going back to my E3 predictions. They're gonna start throwing stuff at the wall and see if something sticks. And they're throwing stuff at the wall and they're hoping that it's the next Fortnite. And it may happen. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
But you know, what's the cost? You know, are you gonna keep neglecting your studios, keep neglecting your fan base, keep alienating new people? I don't know. So here's another quote that's very interesting. He says it's really difficult for anybody to think about making large-scale AAA games these days without having in mind a content and service plan that goes 1 to 2 years into the future out of the gate. That is absolutely false, because Nier had a $15 DLC that was basically a Coliseum mode and a sexy dress for 2B, and Persona 5 didn't have any content DLC, zero multiplayer aspects. Horizon Zero Dawn, zero multiplayer aspects, one expansion pack that came out on the same year. God of War has no plans for DLC based on what I've heard. So that's done. Same thing with another great example that I can give you just a couple of weeks ago with Detroit Become Human, a single player experience with zero multiplayer. It's doing great on Twitch. No DLC, at least for the moment, that has been announced. So his statement here is absolutely not true, and it's just wrong. So I don't know where, if this is not a roadmap and you're an Xbox fan, this should concern you, because this is the roadmap. The roadmap is we're gonna put your game in our constant. You know, they're going to concentrate into making multiplayer experiences. So, yeah, you're still gonna get, you know, Ori and the Will of the Wisps and this sort of, you know, $20 indie games that come in that are single player experiences, but you're not gonna get, you know, a story driven, you know, single player, you know, cinematic experience. That to me is concerning, because I think that they had studios that were capable. They closed Lionhead, which was a storytelling studio. They tried to do a multiplayer thing with them. It didn't work, and they closed the studio. And that's exactly what happened to Platinum with Scalebound. You know, the multiplayer didn't work the way they wanted. They closed the studio. They shut down the project. No, they, oh God, don't close down Platinum Games. Jeez, oh, scared myself there for a second, man. No, don't do that. But I'm concerned, you know, and it seems like their focus, and he mentions during the interview that their focus is going to be their pillar franchises, you know, Gears of War, Halo, and Forza and Minecraft. So compare that, Joel. So that's their 4 pillars that they're saying. Compare that to Spider-Man, The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, and Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, we haven't seen Ghost of Tsushima, but I am
just the 3 alone. Oh my gosh,
I'm 100% confident that that game is going to be fantastic. So, it's night and day, and then you compare it with Nintendo's initiative and how different they're doing things too. Again, we have, you know, Breath of the Wild, one of the best reviewed games ever. Super Mario Odyssey, and then we keep getting experiences, and then we got Pokemon. Now Pokemon, yeah, it has a multiplayer element, but it's a couch multiplayer experience with their new Pokemon game. And then I'm assuming whenever the next big RPG for Pokemon comes out, it's going to be a single player experience. I'm concerned, Joe, but I think that they are focusing on on just keeping their fan base, and they're not going to try and expand at this point.
It's a shame. It's a real shame.
Yeah. We'll see. Again, I still have my predictions, and man, I think they're gonna tease like new hardware, and that would be such a huge mistake. Such a huge mistake when you have the best piece of arguably the best piece of hardware of console hardware out there. They have it, Joel. So they have the hardware. Why not put the content there? And it's just it's inconceivable.
Funny, I was watching that movie the other day. Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nice. Inconceivable. Yeah, sometimes Obed things just make too much sense, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know where they're going with this, but we'll find out Sunday, right?
E3.
And we'll find out when they come out and say, hey, this is our next 2 years. We'll see. I know. I got a prediction. Can I have a prediction, Joel?
Let's go for it.
We're gonna see 2 of their franchises have a battle royale.
Oh yeah.
And it could be a Gears battle royale, and this thing that they're calling Halo Infinity, Halo Infinity. I think this is gonna be a multiplayer only experience. It's not gonna. I don't think this is gonna be a Halo 6. I think
Talk about Halo now. Let's get into Halo.
Do it. Yeah.
No, so yeah, the rumors are swirling that Halo 6, which we had talked about, Obed, on our predictions episode, that the next Halo game would be announced at E3 for Microsoft. And like you said, it's not the rumors that's not even Halo 6, it's just Halo Infinity. So it leads us to believe that it's being taken away from the traditional Halo sequentialism, right? Where you would go in those number order, that they're trying to do something different. Halo Infinity, like you said, maybe it's not your traditional Halo game, maybe it's a battle royale game. This is all coming out just recently, so Obed, like I said to you, I think battle royale is going to be the thing that you're going to hear a lot, that word thrown around this E3, just because of the Fortnite effect. So it's fascinating that they would not go with a Halo 6 instead of Halo Infinite, as we're hearing. What does this mean to you, Obed?
I think this is something different. It's not going to be a story Master Chief Halo, story. I think this is going to be a multiplayer focused game, and this is going to be either a multiplayer suite of modes, or this is going to be a battle royale type of experience. At this point, if they do something like this, I don't think the PUBG people are going to be really happy with them, because they thought they owned the market, and they really didn't. Fortnite came in and that was it, and it was over for them. But by the way, Joel, one prediction that I have is that we will see a PUBG announcement for PS4 coming out in like November or something.
Yeah.
But I think this is not going to be a standard Halo game. This is going to be either a multiplayer suite or a battle royale experience. Yeah. So concerning, because Halo is a friend. Like, a lot of people look forward to the story, and I know that I again, I'm not an Xbox guy. I haven't played. I played a little bit of the original Halo back in the Xbox, but other than that, I haven't touched any of those games. But my understanding is that people really love those campaigns, and for them to just go ahead and do this, right? Can you imagine just Sony announcing an Uncharted game, and then when it comes out, it's just an Uncharted multiplayer?
Oh, I'd be so upset.
No story, it's just a multiplayer.
That's not what Uncharted's known for.
Can you imagine The Last of Us 2 being just a multiplayer experience?
Oh, they would rile up some people.
Yeah. Trust me, they will. But that's what I think of this, Joel. This is to me again as big as a roadmap as we can get. Um, they and it's been disproven time and time again. It was disproven last year with PlayStation and Nintendo. It's being disproven right now with PlayStation. We'll see what Nintendo has in store at E3. It's again Gamer Super Bowl. We're all cheering for our teams, but I cheer for everyone. I believe games are an art form, and everyone deserves an opportunity to have their vision be out there. But at the same time, you need to be able to give your creators the liberty to create their vision. And they have a roadmap here that to me does not make any sense. They're making the statements and that are flat out wrong. Yeah, this is the by saying that there's a place for 20 to 30 hour games. There's a place. It's called PlayStation.
Oh boy!
If you wanna go there, right? But you know, even on PC, because PC games, unless you're looking into one of those hardcore RPGs, it's mostly multiplayer experiences or smaller experiences that have no little to no storytelling. So we'll see. Hopefully they prove me wrong on Sunday, man, and they come out and they impress me. I'm hoping. They need to. I mean, at this point they don't need to, but they need to for their own sake.
Yeah, we'll be watching.
Yeah, we'll definitely be watching. But the other quick thing that I have here is something that I forgot to ask you or mention last week. But what do you think Rocksteady, the guys behind the Arkham series, are working on?
So I strongly believe still, and we had this as a prediction for last E3, I still believe that they've been developing a Superman game. And I believe I'll stand behind it, but I really believe this is the year that we get the Superman game announcement. Just like how they did the Batman Arkham series. Those games were really strong. Even Origins that some people have issues with. I think it's fine. It's a good game. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Rocksteady, I think now being involved with a Superman story, it really fascinates me. You and I, Obed, have had this discussion about, hey, how do you temper a character like Superman where he's basically all powerful, super strong, can fly. You don't want it just to be this easy, punch your way through everything and win easily. You want to have some kind of challenge or competitiveness to the storyline and the gameplay of it to make it really fun and enjoyable, right? So the thing that came out about this was it was a tweet conversation going on with a Game Informer reporter where he saw something. He responded to somebody with a Superman tweet that they put out, a picture of Superman over almost like looking like a Brainiac kind of character. And so this guy just basically put out there like, wait till you see our cover next month or something. So that led people to believe that, hey, maybe for E3, this is going to be the Game Informer cover is going to be the official full reveal from E3 of the Superman game. I think it's time. And if you're going to do something to kind of keep him leveled, but I was saying, yeah, put him in another planet. Don't put him on Earth. Put him with a character like a Brainiac. Or hey, you got something?
I got breaking news.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
Breaking news just confirmed by Microsoft that Crackdown has been pushed to 2019 with no specific release date.
Well, all the fanboys could eat their words because, Obed, you had some disputes with some people about this.
Yep. Yeah, some people are saying, "Oh no, this is Amazon making a glitch and whatnot." But now, Jason Schreier from Kotaku just confirmed that it's being delayed till 2019, no date yet. Damn, Joel, 7 years in the making. Because this game, you probably have to put a year's work to show to have what they showed back in 2014. So 2013 to 2019, almost. This Final Fantasy 15, man.
That's it, man. It better be like just blowing us out of the water, kind of good, because that's a long time.
Yeah, this thing's better be God of War 5 or something.
Seriously, next level.
Which, by the way, Joel, I heard. I don't know if this is confirmed. I'm sorry, I switched the topic.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
But Superman's cool. We're talking about Superman in a second. I heard that the budget for God of War was only $44 million.
Wow, they instantly made back a profit.
It's no, but it's and the thing is that game has so much detail that's like how are they doing this with that money? I mean, the gameplay loop is not an expensive loop, but then when you go into details, that's when you see the money. But when you compare it, you compare it to other games out there, like of course, Rockstar is going to put infinite money on their games, so they don't count. But Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5 cost I think $88 million. So I mean, half of the money, and they probably already got their money back with exposure and sales. I think they hit $5 million last week in sales. So they're probably going to be around 15 by the end of the year. When this thing goes on sale next week, for $20, and then it's probably going to go on sale again during Black Friday. They're probably going to get to 15 million by the end of the year.
Amazing.
Yeah. But going back to Rocksteady, I think it's time. Arkham Knight came out in 2015, so let's see what happens. I mean, yeah, they need to take Superman into space. They need to temper his powers, and I'm wondering what kind of combat he's going to have. And my biggest question is, how are they going to do the progression? Because on Batman, you can do the progression easily. It's like, oh yeah, you unlock a new gadget because you went to this place and grabbed this gadget that you needed. But how are you going to unlock, the heat vision, and how are you going to unlock, like super speed or things like that? So that's going to be interesting.
My theory behind it, or not theory, but just what I would present as an option would be, if he's on another planet, why not just go ahead and bring into effect the Fortress of Solitude and make it the early years of Superman, and that he's getting these crystals of knowledge of Jor-El, and he's taking his time to kind of go through these to learn more about his powers as his father's teaching him, right?
That's cool. That's cool.
That's my theory on what they should do.
Joe, you should be a Superman game designer. That's actually pretty good.
Sweaty nerd stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that is actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, if you go to like a Superman Origins kind of thing, and just having go through like different places where where Jor-El left something for him to learn. Wow, man, you nailed it, dude.
I hope that's the case. We'll see.
That's good, bro. And that actually sounds pretty good. So, and hopefully the last thing you unlock is flight, right?
Yes.
Because or at least a little over halfway through, because that's gonna break everything.
Unless there's levels of flight, right? I don't know. Like, I didn't know I could go this booming fast. I don't know. Test how fast you are, Superman. I don't know.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that should be pretty interesting. And I'm hoping that Rocksteady, they put out quality stuff. So I am definitely looking forward. Even Arkham Knight, with all the tank issues or Batmobile issues that some people said it had. But my issues with the Batmobile on Arkham Knight were not that you spent a lot of time in it. It was that they decided to do story bits in it. And that to me was a lot of lost opportunity to do something maybe a little bit more interesting. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. So we'll see.
Super.
Yeah. That's what I got, man. So again, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. We're going to be live, and just tune in and hang out with us. We're going to leave the chat open, keep it civil. And hopefully you guys have a good time with us. And I'm really excited, Joel, because it's going to be really interesting.
I know, it's awesome because next week they get to be with us twice, Monday and on Thursday. So you guys do not want to miss it. There's going to be a lot of no load time stuff coming out. That's going to be so much fun. It's like something you've never seen. We've never done this before. So it's going to be really amazing. I look forward to it, Obed. But guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Listen to us here on No Load Time. I want to take time here just to say thank you and to also stay connected with us. So I want to remind you that we are on social media. You can give us a follow at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. If you are also following us or subscribing to us on our podcast, you can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. And you also can subscribe to our video version on YouTube. If you are a subscriber on iTunes, if you go out of your way to go ahead and drop us a review, that really help us out. Also, we asked you that you would send in some feedback. We love to hear from you, especially as we go into our live episode. We always welcome your feedback. So you can shoot an email to us at noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Yeah, thank you guys, and we hope to see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.